You're being watched.
I wanted to talk to you.
Not much of a conversation, as you can't talk back.
I built you to see bad things that might happen. I know some very bad things are coming. I suppose everyone feels that he's the hero in his own story, but there are no heroes, no villains, just people doing the best they can. There is good and bad in all of us, but this action, saving lives, it is a pure good. I know I'm probably going to die, but I was wondering if my friends get out alive.
Person of Interest. Alright, so Person of Interest was a TV show on CBS. Now, I have been a big fan of this show ever since its debut. First off, the show was created by Johnathan Nolan. Johnathan Nolan is known as the brother of Christopher Nolan. He wrote some of the scripts with Nolan, and he's really famous for writing the script of Memento. Now, what the basic premise of this show is, after 9/11, the government went a system to watch over to predict the next terrorist attack. And they create a thing called the machine. And pretty much what the machine was an AI, an artificial intelligence. And this intelligence would watch over everyone's day of life to predict what was going to happen. And that's what was really interesting about the show. It's set in like a world after a terrible terror attack that happened in our history. And what did people do about it? First off, let's talk about the characters of this show. First off, we have John Reese. John Reese is a former CIA agent who gets betrayed. And one thing I really liked about Reese, he's pretty much a badass. He is such a cool character. He has some of the greatest one-liners of all time. Like, I remember at the end of season 1, he gave one character a chocolate bar. And there would be the tag, she was like saying, does the chocolate help you get your energy back and to simulate kindness? And Reese is like, no, but it tastes good. So it's just some great line moments right there. And then you also got to talk about Michael Emerson, otherwise known as Mr. Finch. Harold Finch, who also was Benjamin Linus in Lost. Now, he was so good in this show. I mean, it was so interesting to see him go from villain to hero, from Lost to Person of Interest. If you've never seen Lost, at least watch his performance as Benjamin Linus, because he did such an amazing job. But the portrayal of Harold Finch was so cool to see. You see how chaotic he is, his mindset and everything, how he doesn't trust the government, everything that was so good about it. You also have other characters. You have Carter who was an NYPD detective who wants to do the right thing. You have Flusco, who's a dirty cop turned hero at the end of the show, really. And then you have Shaw, another badass assassin. You also introduce Root, who started out as a villain, turned to hero, and I really liked her character as well. What the show first started out was basically you have a small team, they're trying to save people's life, they're trying to find a person of interest, they don't know if that person's a perpetrator or a victim. The show evolved as the show went along. Like, the first main plot line really had CIA, but then one of the main storylines was the storyline with Elias and HR. But really, it evolved into a real more international story. It pretty much turned, another AI joins this game later on in the season, in the show. And what basically became like, both the AIs were basically gods. And really, you could look at it that way. It's basically like Greek mythology where two gods would face each other and no one knew what was really going to happen. The world was going to shake up. I don't want to spoil too much of this show, because it's such a great show. The show got cut off really in its 5th season because I think they wanted to lay it out a little longer, because the ending did happen pretty quickly, but I understand because they wanted to finish the show out. Why the show didn't get canceled, because this was a great television, and this is why network TV is terrible at stuff like this. Person of Interest is one of those shows that really, it made you think. It wasn't just a by-the-numbers cop show. It was such an original show for its time. The characters were so good. And the problem with it, it was on CBS. Because CBS says it's not getting enough views, so let's cut the show and just put up another dang cop show. Screw you, CBS. This is probably the last show I'm probably going to give CBS a chance with. I don't want to turn this into a hate on CBS because I like Survivor and Big Bang Theory, but this is probably the last real good show I watched from CBS. There were some problems with the show. Season 4 was a little weak, but the 5th season, The final season of Person of Interest was so good because I think it's because there's only 13 episodes this season. Because now they don't have to worry about filling out an entire 24 episode season block. They can just focus on story. And that's why shows like Breaking Bad, Mad Men, Better Call Saul, all Game of Thrones. These are the shows that have short seasons that they're allowed to do story and they don't have to worry about filler. I wish all shows would catch this formula because it helps story out so much. This was a great show. The first 4 seasons are on Netflix. I'm sure season 5 will be coming on Netflix probably in a few months. I'm sure you can wait. It's such a good show. I recommend checking it out. And that's why I'm going to give Person of Interest an A. Have you seen Person of Interest? Whatever your thoughts are, comment below. Let me know. And if you like this video, click that thumbs up button. Subscribe to see more. And tell your friends about Easy Nation. All too easy.